Yo, Jock. It seems like you have the symptoms of a losing team.
So welcome back, everybody, to Mike the Mike. All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry we couldn't make a video last week. Big Mike had a lot of midterms last week, 5 to be exact. But we're back at it this week. So welcome back to Mike the Mike and Ja Sports Talk Podcast. In today's talk, we'll be talking about NBA injuries and the MLB instant replay. Some controversy happened the last couple of weeks in the MLB. But first, we're going to talk about the NBA injuries because it's a little more recent. So, biggest injury news coming out of this week is obviously Jamal Murray. You know, he blew out his knee, essentially. He tore his ACL. An injury like this sucks. Jamal Murray is obviously one of the best young players in the league. Essentially, you can make an argument that he's the franchise player of the Nuggets, but obviously Jokic is their franchise player, which I won't argue against that. I agree with that, but you never know. There's probably arguments out there. Usually, a torn ACL is about 9 to 12 months, but closer to 12 months, so that essentially probably takes him out for the whole of next season, which hurts the Nuggets. The Nuggets are basically done. They're not going to go to the finals. They probably had a chance with Jamal Murray to go to the finals. That team was very good. They were very close last season with Jokic and Jamal Murray. You know, they came back, I think, 3-1 back-to-back series, first time done in NBA history. But this year they had a really good chance. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the NBA Finals. You know, that team is stacked, like I just said. Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr. has really stepped up this last couple of months. They also have obviously Jokic, who's probably going to run away with the MVP. But I won't be surprised if Embiid or somebody else gives him a hard time with it. But in my eyes, I think ESPN just came out with a poll, actually, that Jokic received 90 of the 101 first-place votes. But without Jamal Murray, they're not going far. I heard that they're in strong talks with Austin Rivers. That's probably just to fill out depth, but he won't be able to fill out what Jamal Murray brings to that team on a nightly basis. And it sucks. It's part of the game. Can't really do anything about it. You just hope for a speedy recovery. And it is what it is. So we don't know how the Nuggets are going to respond to this injury. They might slip or they might stay the 4th seed or move up to the 3rd seed. It's pretty close between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th seed. I know the Clippers have 18 losses. The Nuggets have 20 losses. And the Lakers have 21 losses. So it's pretty close between those three teams. But you never know. So we'll see how it plays out. They do have to adjust now because, you got to replace 25 points, 20 points, whatever he brought to the table.
So I understand what Jock is saying about the injury stuff, and Jamal Murray was a big part of the team and everything. But I don't agree that the Denver Nuggets are gonna slip. I feel like that. Can you stop trying to sponsor? But I think the Nuggets are pretty solid. They're a really good team. Even without Jamal Murray, I feel like, sure, Jamal Murray is a big player. He's probably the second best player on that team right behind Jokic. So losing him is a really big thing. But the thing is, I feel like everybody else could kind of pick up the slack a little bit. And they also got this backup point guard. I'm sorry, I don't want to mispronounce it, but I'm going to say Campazzo. I hope that's right. Facundo Campazzo. I've seen a couple of his plays. I've seen him play a little bit. And, he doesn't do too bad. I think that him picking up a little bit of the slack, if Austin Rivers comes in, he did great for the Knicks while he was on the Knicks. So it wasn't bad at all. And Nikola Jokic is a great player. He already is a floor general. So there's nothing to worry about. It's not like, oh, you're losing the floor general, because Jokic was that guy already. So it's not like you're just losing a significant amount of scoring and obviously playmaking, but that could be picked up by everybody else. I feel like they have a solid enough team to be able to take them to where they want to be. I'm not sure if they're really gonna make it to the finals. If the Lakers stay injured like they are now, which I mean they're probably gonna recover sooner or later, but I'm just saying if they do somehow end up getting re-injured or whatever, like the LeBron and AD, then they're not gonna be making the finals. But if LeBron and AD persist, that they'll probably meet up with the Denver Nuggets or the Suns, which have been really impressive. The Suns are actually a really tough competitor for the Denver Nuggets because they got everything, and including a point guard like Chris Paul. And when you got Chris Paul going against the Jamal Murray list Denver Nuggets, now that might be a little bit tough of a matchup. But we'll see when we get there. But I think that the Denver Nuggets are still going to be a solid team. They're going to continue to win games, stay at the top of the seeding, and I think they'll be okay.
So after the Murray injury, there was an unnamed assistant coach on one of the NBA teams that went out and allegedly said that the reason for the rising of injuries in the NBA right now is because of the compacted schedule, constant testing. That probably goes into players like rest time. And I'm just paraphrasing what he's saying, that he said that he thought this was like probably the worst setup schedule in NBA history. Those are not the exact words that he said, just again paraphrasing, but you get what I'm saying, that he's not a big fan of the situation that the NBA players are in right now. And, I don't know the statistics on the percentage of injuries compared to this season to last season or the season before or the last 10 years, but I'm pretty sure it's probably consistent. The last couple of years has probably been the same number. Like I said, injuries suck. There have been a few key injuries this season. Some off the top of my head, Kevin Durant missed like 25 games with a hamstring injury. LeBron is in the middle of a high ankle sprain injury. There has been other injuries. Spencer Dinwiddie, he's big time. Now Jamal Murray. Now James Harden is going through a hamstring injury. And, there's been other injuries, but they haven't been, like, too serious. I know Kawhi Leonard right now is dealing with a foot issue, and the Clippers are obviously being cautious, as they should. They're regardless going into the playoffs, so they shouldn't, rush that situation. I know PG complained about his toe was bothering him. The NBA season is very long. When everything goes back to normal, it's basically from September. And if you're let's say the Lakers, Nets, or 76ers, or the Milwaukee Bucks, or obviously the Clippers, or the New York Knicks, who's on the rise. Actually, they're on a 4-game winning streak. But those kind of teams go from September to June. Especially in times like this where you have to be constantly tested for the coronavirus, for obvious reasons. You don't want to affect, the coaches, the management, obviously other players, especially other players on other teams. So that probably goes into their rest time. They probably do those testings during their rest days. Hopefully, come playoff time, they're all healthy so we can get a nice, playoffs like we did last season. Hopefully, come playoff time, all the NBA superstars will be back and healthy to go.
For that topic, it's a little bit of a difficult situation because I understand both sides. Obviously, because I think actually like LeBron made a statement about it earlier, how he didn't even have that much time to really recover before the season started. And it's a pretty difficult situation. I completely understand from both sides, though. I understand from the player side and from the NBA organization side. Because from the player side, obviously the Heat and the Lakers and those other 4 teams that were in the end, they had a pretty difficult time because literally a couple days after, like 60 days after, they had to hop right back into a whole season. And it's not just a regular season; it's a compacted season. So, of course, they're right to, voice their opinions on it and talk about it. But at the same time, I understand where the NBA organization is coming from because, look, you have a lot of things to manage. You have, first of all, you have players who haven't played. Like for example, the New York Knicks at that point didn't play since last March. The 8 bottom teams or something like that, they've been waiting for a long time. So you got those teams, and then you got like those teams that got out of the bubble early. On top of that, you also have some fans who are waiting to get back into the arena. So you have to consider that factor. You got a bunch of different factors to consider. And on top of all that, you want to get back on schedule as you were, because the schedule is from September to June. If they would have waited like a couple more months, it would have either been a more compacted season, or it would have been just you would have messed up the whole thing, and the NBA season would have started in a weird, like in a irregular time. So I understand both perspectives. I mean, hopefully, like after this season, it's gonna go back to normal in terms of like the NBA, structure. So, and hopefully, something like COVID-19 never bestows upon us again.
So the next topic, and the first time we'll be talking about it, is the MLB constant replay. There was some controversy the last couple of weeks. So a couple of weeks ago, it was the Mets and the Marlins game, and if you hit a batter, the batter gets an automatic on base. But if the batter seems to like extend his arm over the plate, which is the home plate, then that's considered an out. Obviously, so this happened to one of the Mets players extended, not really like, out there, but he kind of like leaned a little bit and extended out his elbow over the strike plate, over the home plate, and got hit. And obviously the Marlins noticed that, this isn't right, so they challenged the call. And unfortunately, in the MLB, in the rule book, you can't challenge that. And obviously, the last call goes to the home plate umpire, or the home plate umpire makes the last call, but he talks to the other umpires, probably the first base umpire and the third base umpire, who saw it better. This sucks, and obviously the Marlins end up losing because of that, because the umpires missed the call, specifically the home umpire. And this sucks because, once again, I know a couple of videos ago, Mike and I actually talked about how like the NBA refs were throwing out superstars out of nationalized televised game, and it sucks. Like we said in that video, umpires, referees shouldn't decide a game. Like, they shouldn't put themselves in the game. Like, that's not what an umpire, referees are meant for. Umpires and referees are meant to control everything, keep everything, under control.
Bro, it's 4 a.m. and I'm editing this video, and this guy says, control everything to keep everything under control. Bro, are you just bro, I need to go to sleep. You need me to edit that out? Nah, I'm keeping that in, bro. I hope everybody sees that.
No fighting, keep everybody in check. This, everything in that. And it sucks that this happened, and you can't do anything about it. And now the second controversy was last week. I think it was the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies. One of the Phillies players was trying to score after one of his teammates hit a single, double, whatever. And the only issue was the guy didn't touch home plate. And the umpire called him safe. But he was technically out. So this you can challenge. So they went to the replay room, and obviously on the big time scoreboard you can see that obviously one of the Phillies players did not touch home plate. And you can see it in different angles. You can see it in 30-degree angle, 60-degree angle, 90-degree angle, 120-degree angle. He did not touch home plate, and the umpires completely, again, missed the call. And the Braves were completely confused. They didn't understand how the umps could miss a call, even with a replay. So that's once again going back to, the umpires putting themselves into games, and they're dictating who basically wins and who loses. A couple of years ago, the instant replay is something new in the MLB. Before that, it was the umpires the umpires dictated, who's out, who's safe, this and that. Everything was, the last call was the umpire. There was no replays in the MLB up until recently. It sucks that, something blatant like that is missed from an right up close, the home umpire is like right there, and then he goes to replay and then again makes the wrong call.
Jock, 100%, and I hope everybody else agrees with this. 100% agree with you. I think it's pretty unfortunate that we have replay. Okay. But I think it's pretty disrespectful to the teams, to the Braves and to the Marlins that, they didn't utilize the technology to even see what the mistake was. The Marlins situation was a little bit tricky because it's like a very, very tight call. It's like if your arm is in a certain area and it hits you, and if you don't try to avoid it, it's kind of difficult because part of that rule is based around your intent. But how can you measure one player's intent? So it's a little bit of a difficult situation there. But this Braves situation is and Philly situation is a clear cut. That's just like, come on. At this point, it's like, come on. The other one is a little bit debatable, but this one, he didn't touch the plate, and you just can't deny that he didn't touch the plate. They could see in their replay station in New York City, that he clearly didn't touch the plate. And that game it wasn't like it was like a blowout game. It was like, okay, whatever, it was 6-6. It was 6-6, so the game was on the line. This is not something that's like it could have went to overtime and could have went a completely different way. Listen, it's just one game, sure, but as Jacques said, it could determine the whole playoffs. And this could have happened in a bunch of different games throughout the season in all different sports, So I think it's pretty ridiculous. I think this is a trend that's not, that should really be fixed by every single organization. I don't know what they got to do. Retrain the umpires, retrain the NBA refs, do whatever they have to do, just because this is out of pocket. All right, so mine and Jock and I's marquee matchup of the week is going to be tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. It's going to be the New York Knicks versus the Dallas Mavericks, or rather today at 9:30 because I'm posting this on Friday. We're posting this on Friday. The Mavericks frustrate me. I hate them so much.
You see what Luka did?
Oh, yeah, I saw what he did.
Yo, that was the luckiest shot ever, bro. What the hell?
That's the type of shots I take.
Stupid ass shot.
No, but listen, I think my clear-cut answer for that winner is going to be the Knicks because I think that we're just a better, well-rounded team. Dallas Mavericks don't got anybody. Who's KP, bro? I can't believe he left. Nah, but you know what? The New York Knicks and KP didn't break up. He's broke. We're up. I can't believe you just dabbed me up for that. Thank you so much for coming back to another Pass the Mic Sports Podcast with Jock and Mike. We'll see you guys Jock will see you guys on Tuesday for another BNOTW. Big news of the week. See you guys later.